Two is an order by Alderman McLaughlin, Director of the Council on Aging, consider providing transportation to local supermarkets for seniors at Cobble Hill until construction of the new corner store is complete.
Mr. President, I'll be brief, but I want to bring this attention to my at-large colleagues who I know care very much about Cobble Hill Apartments, and that the stores where the seniors there used to go shopping has been closed for well over a year now. No end in sight as far as getting construction started on that. And I've talked to a few seniors there who've told me that they haven't had adequate transportation to get things like food and milk and basic services. So I would like the city and the Council on Aging and every senior services to be aware of this so that we can assist our seniors at Cobble Hill.
21 is an order by Alderman McLaughlin. Supervisor of Inspection Services inspect the abandoned businesses at the Cobble Hill Center for violations and then fine accordingly.
Alderman McLaughlin.
Mr. President, second repeat offender. I know this was brought up in the newspapers recently about this abandoned property where development is lagging. There was an article about a lawsuit between partners in the news last week. Since then, people have gone onto the property and broken the windows there. It's become even worse than it was before. I would like ISD to make sure that the owners of this property, who are really neglecting and harming the community, are taking care of their own property.
Thank you all.
Cobble Hill Plaza has been abandoned for about 4 years now. The partners are suing each other. It's been in the papers. And I think 4 years with a graffiti tag, glass broken, fenced off area, that constitutes a blight in my mind. And it's a real insult to everyone in the community. So as you know, there's 2 grounds for seizing a property by eminent domain. One of them is a blighted area, and that is really just gone beyond what we have here. I'm doing this, one, because the first priority would be for these people to get to work. So get to work on your project that you spent money, that you got your zoning permits to build, and do something. If not, they should sell the property. And if that doesn't happen, we should be taking this property by eminent domain. And the other aspect of eminent domain is finding a public use. I would love to explore the idea of land trusts, which is basically, in summary, the city owns the land, but the building is owned by the people who live in the building. So it's a way to build permanent affordable housing. There's also a lot of space for open space here, for green space. I think something has to get done.
We have a resolution submitted by Alderman McLaughlin that the administration requests that the developers of the long vacant Cobble Hill Plaza update this board on their plans.
On the item.
Yes, Mr. President, everybody knows that this has been a major thorn in my side for a while. We've had the place ticketed, we've had them fined, they've lost their permits. I requested the city seize this property by eminent domain. They declined to do so. What I did recently through my email list was have all the residents who are angry about this contact the Cobble Hill developers and tell them to get to work. And at least one party seems interested in having a conversation about getting into mitigation or having arbitration on this issue. So I would like to just officially request this and put it in the committee of your choice so that we can have a discussion and get this moving. It's been too long.
Radio.
I also thank Mr. McLaughlin and his clients for coming through and explaining their position. If it were up to me, we would have what they want, which is a development already done and built there, generating tax revenue. And that just never happened. Without pointing fingers, it just wasn't able to happen. And a lot of this, wouldn't have ever come to anyone's attention if those businesses were just not shut down, because there would be no blight, there'd be no complaints from neighbors about what's going on at that site, and a lot of things could have been avoided. There's just a lot of uses we could get for that site while we wait. The first one that comes to mind is parking. They're going to be possibly removing a lot of parking spots along Tough Street during construction. And we also lost the use of public lots in the schools during snow emergencies, so this seems like a good spot to allow for parking for residents. And another thing I'd really like to see, because we have Cobble Hill Plaza right there with the seniors who have lost their food source when the market closed there, mobile food marts, food trucks for construction workers, all sorts of different uses we can make of it while we find a permanent use for it.
Stated my preference in a public-private partnership. The City Council has stated their preference repeatedly and wouldn't seize this property without the component of a public-private partnership. And we arranged with the redevelopment authority and all these different groups to make that a possibility. And I just don't hear that being a part of this conversation right now. And generally, I feel when something's not a part of the conversation, it's probably not going to happen. And that's a concern of mine. And that land is very important for the redevelopment of East Somerville. There is a train station going right there. It has been a long neglected part of the neighborhood, and just a public safety building isn't good enough for me. And I know that one of the answers I got was that we need a public safety building soon, but we've needed it for several years now. And I don't think it's good enough to say that that we need to speed this up without a full plan. I want a full plan, and it's not just about myself or about the safety of the community. It's also about the long-term plan of the city, and I know the council went to great lengths to make sure that this can be more than a public safety building. This isn't just about financing the project or getting something for free. It's also about maximum utilization of the land, which is right next to the Green Line station. And I feel like we've done a few tours of public safety buildings. As far as I know, I don't think any of those were public-private partnership buildings. So I feel like we're heading in this direction already of just a public safety building. I feel like I get the impression that the decision has been made already. And now it's to convince people on this committee and then later the city council that this is the best way forward. And I'm trying to save everybody a lot of time and struggle and heartache to say, let's get this right now, because I promise you, when it gets to the city council, where all this work will be for naught if we don't heed the message that the city council has already expressed repeatedly.
I grew up being a Y guy, learned to swim there and spent almost every day after school there, going to the gym and hanging out with friends and working out, playing basketball. We do need more than just one community center, and it'd be nice to have a center that you don't need a membership to go to, and you can just drop in and have unstructured fun for all ages as well. There's some properties in East Somerville that have been identified for potentially doing just that.